Hello everyone, welcome to Live Story Time with LGRO, Lower Grand River Organization of Watersheds, on this Monday afternoon. I hope that you all had a wonderful Mother's Day, like I did this weekend with my little kids. And I have my daughter Lydia here with me to help me with our story today, because we have a story that on the surface is about something very special that we like. What's the story about today?
Birds.
About birds. And Lydia has brought some of her special birds and bird watching supplies with her to show us. What kind of bird is this?
Robin.
It's a robin. What other kinds of birds did you bring? Ooh, who's this guy?
Owl.
Yeah.
And another owl.
Another owl.
And a puffin.
A puffin. And you brought a piece of equipment too, right? What did you bring along?
Binoculars.
Oh, what are those binoculars for?
Watching birds.
For watching birds, yeah. So we're going to read a story today that's called The Birdwatchers. And I know it's not a story that's about water. It's not a watershed book. But I want to read this story to you because it's one of my favorites, and it teaches us about about birds, but it also teaches us about some of the skills that are really important for kids and adults to have to help people learn how to take care of the watershed and wild creatures out in the world. So you're going to see in this book a couple of things. One is you're going to see people... Birds, yeah. You're going to see people learning how to make observations, and you're going to see a grandfather. You're going to see a special adult in this little girl's life who helps her learn the skill of storytelling in nature. And one of the reasons that I think that storytelling in nature is so important is because it helps us build a connection to the natural world. And when we have a connection to nature, don't put your feet on that because it makes the camera shake. When we have a connection to the natural world, it's easier for us to care about it and to do what we need to do to take care of it. And so even though this is about birds, caring about the creatures that live in the world and learning how to observe them closely can help us do a better job of getting inspired to take care of the watershed and all the other creatures that live in it. So I'm going to read you the story. It's called The Birdwatchers. Here's the first page. Oh, Lydia's going to look for a bird real quick. What do you see out there?
Bird.
Our bird feeder is right there. So Lydia's going to do some observations while we watch. So here's the first page. It has a picture of all the things you might take with you when you go out into nature and when you make some observations while you're there. And one thing that's really special about this time where you might feel like you're stuck at home is that you have a lot of time to make really good observations. You can go outdoors in nature and do that, or you can just look out your window and see what you see out there.
And watch birds.
And watch birds. And here is the cover page. The Birdwatchers by Simon James. And you can see there she is with her grandpa. And what do they think they're doing in that picture? What kind of a book do you think that is?
Wild animal book?
A wild animal book? It's probably a bird book. My granddad is a bird watcher. He tells me bird watching stories. He always says, Jess, when I go bird watching, things happen. Once, my granddad said, Jess, when I make drawings of the birds, sometimes they make drawings of me too. You see that little bird making a drawing of him? That's so cute. My granddad said, Jess, sometimes the birds help me when I can't find their names in my bird book. Has a bird ever helped you find its name in a book?
No.
That's a funny story. And my granddad said, Jess, I got all the birds together one morning to record something called the Dawn Chorus just for you. Can you see him? There he is on the ground with his recording equipment, and all the birds are in a choir. In the background, look at this one, is being the conductor. That's cute. What do you think this little girl thinks of this story?
She could be a birdwatcher too.
Maybe that's what she thinks. My granddad said, birds are amazing, Jess. But I wasn't sure. I had to find out for myself. So one day, I decided to go bird watching with him. When I got there, I couldn't believe it. I couldn't see anything at all. You ever had that where you went out in nature and you were walking around and you thought, I don't see anything. I just don't. Sometimes that's because you're not looking closely enough. Granddad showed me how to use his binoculars. Everything was closer, but I still couldn't see anything. Nothing happened. Sometimes it's because you don't know where to look. So her granddad is teaching her how to look. Then Granddad took me to the bird watching hut. So they have a special little house they can go to where they're hidden from the birds. Granddad opened the hatch and we looked out. It was amazing. What do you think she saw?
Lots of birds gathered together.
She's read this story before. I'd never seen so many birds. Granddad said there were yellow warblers, ring-necked ducks, herons, snipe, western grebes. We made lots of notes and loads of drawings. So you can see one thing that this granddad and his little granddaughter are doing is they went into a quiet place where they could observe the birds quietly without the birds seeing them. And when they spent a long time in there, quietly, they were able to see a lot of birds. And some of the things that they did, what did they do? They made lots of notes and loads of
pictures.
Yeah, they drew down what they saw. So they were making a lot of observations and her granddad was showing her how to do that. Soon it was time to go. On the way back, Granddad asked me what I liked best about my first day of bird watching. This is my favorite part of the story because this is where we learn about storytelling in nature and how fun it is to tell a story.
Mama, I like the part she says the dancing penguins.
No, we're gonna get there. That's when I thought I'd tell him a bird watching story of my own. Granddad, I liked it best when the dancing penguins came and shared my sandwich. Were there any dancing penguins in that picture? Let's go back and look. Do you see any dancing penguins?
No.
That's a story she made up. Dancing penguins, Jess, said Granddad.
The dancing penguins.
I must have been looking the other way. Do you see the dancing penguins?
Yeah.
Where are they? Can you point them out? Yeah, there they are. Imaginary penguins, I think.
Yeah.
The end.
They're like
and here's
blind.
all the little birds on the drawing.
And they're like
So what you saw happen in this book is this little girl had a special person in her life who was a mentor to her, who taught her what it looks like to observe in nature, and who taught her what it looks like and what it feels like to tell stories about nature, about they might be true. Oh, there's some birds out there that Lydia's excited about. She also showed us what it looks like to tell stories about nature, things that are true stories that actually happened when you were out there, but also stories that are imaginative, that help you build a closer connection to the natural world. And I hope
when the dancing penguins came.
Like when the dancing penguins came. And I hope that during this time when you're home that you spend some of your time just looking out a window or getting into your own backyard or getting out into local rivers and streams and woods and spend some time observing and spend some time telling some stories as a family and as friends that help you feel more connected to nature and that help you feel like it's something that you want to take care of. And if you want to learn some ways you can take care of nature, come back and join us on Wednesday when I'm going to be teaching you how you can go out in your own backyard and learn about things you can do in your own home. Okay, she's got her hand raised. On Wednesday, I'm going to be telling you ways you can look at your own backyard and look for ways that you can make it more friendly to the watershed and to all the creatures that live in it. Lydia, what's the one thing you wanted to say?
We also saw a turkey nest with eggs in it.
We observed a turkey nest with eggs in it in our woods. Maybe we'll take you out there and show you later this week. I hope you enjoyed today's story, The Birdwatchers by Simon James, and I hope that you're able to get outside and spend some time observing and telling your own stories in nature. And if you have a great story about a time in nature or a time on the river in the watershed that you want to tell us about, we would love to hear about it. Go ahead and drop it in the comments. Have a great afternoon.